All right. We're live. 4 people watching, Jerrod.
Whoa, one of them is me.
3 people watching, Jerrod. Is this where it's happening? Yes, Jerrod. Yes, I will answer you. It is where it's happening. Yes.
Right on. Wherever we are, that is where it is happening.
That is. There it is. So, welcome everybody. This is Ian and Jerrod's Hump Day Extravaganza, starring Ian and Jerrod.
And Jerrod.
And Jerrod. Yeah.
Whew. Well, it is St. Patrick's Day. I went out. I got myself my Shamrock Shake, which for me is a big deal because every year I want one, and every year I forget completely about getting it until it's too late. So I'd like to thank our sponsor, McDonald's, for the great taste.
Yeah, absolutely. You know something? I was late to the party on Shamrock Shakes. I never had them as a kid, and it wasn't until less than 10 years ago I had my first one. Not a fan. I think it's something you gotta grow up with. Although it's hard for me to like anything but a chocolate shake. I will say that.
I got it. I've been looking forward to it, and it did not. So it's a shake. So like when it's a shake, it's like it didn't meet the high expectations I had for it, but it still can't go any lower than I'm having a shake that doesn't have like, I don't know, like ground beef or, just bullshit things that should not be in a shake in it.
Or as I like to call it, a smoothie. Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. It doesn't. I mean, that bar's pretty high. Like you're if you're getting a shake, you're pretty happy, right? It really doesn't matter. It's just, yeah, I agree.
And I think Bagley asks a good question there when he says, "What flavor is Shamrock?" Because obviously, they're going to try to make it taste like something other than your lawn. Why not just call it the mint shake? Like
the mint shake.
Why are they pandering to the Irish so hard?
Well, it is McDonald's. That's right?
True.
So it is a little bit on brand for them, kinda, right? But I'm with you. Or at least call it the mint Shamrock Shake, or give us a little hint of what you're going to experience, right?
Right. There's nothing minty about Ireland. Nobody thinks of mint when they think of Ireland.
Right. They think of potatoes, and again, now we're in smoothie territory, right? I mean, if you a potato milkshake is a smoothie. You're just missing the kale.
That's just loose mashed potatoes at that point, too.
Oh, we're educating the masses here. Bagley and Bowler did not know it was mint. Yeah. What the fresh hell? I agree. It's mint. It's a vanilla shake with green food syrup and mint flavoring. I mean
mint flavoring too. So, when I was a kid, I really didn't like mint. I have come right around. Like mint chocolate chip ice cream is in my top 5 now.
Now, maybe if they were to make the base the chocolate ice cream and add the mint flavoring to that and get a mint chocolate, that may be more my speed. Oh, look, Jerrod, we're dividing the bag bowls. We're dividing them.
There's no way their marriage is going to survive this episode.
Well, I mean, we knew we'd be changing the world. I just didn't think for evil.
So, from what I understand, at McDonald's, they will let you like mix shake flavors together. Like you don't have to get 2 and a third empty cup and get all fancy. They'll do it for you.
Oh, I missed it. I'll have to wait till next year. I'm going to put this in my calendar for next year to go in and get half chocolate, half Shamrock. It'd probably be disgusting.
I mean, it was like I don't eat a lot of milkshakes because I just can't do that anymore. Even that medium that I got there, it was like a huge reach, and I'm probably going to pay for it in like an hour or 2.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Although you disclosed something during our workshop last week about this Klondike Boston cream.
Oh,
I got to try it. The next time I go to the supermarket, I'm getting. Jerrod discovered a Klondike donut series, and the flavor that he likes is the Boston cream.
It is incredible. Like boy, first talking about the shakes and then talking about this, I sound like I have a portion of my day set aside for ice cream products. I really don't. I got that on a whim because it was some crazy deal, and oh my God, is it good. Now, it's at its best on Saturdays for me because Saturday is a very special day of the week for me.
Yeah.
Because that is the day I do things that make food taste better to me.
I wonder what that could be. Bowler's right. I mean, if you're lactose intolerant, this is not your episode. And then Bagley's just like, no, I don't think so. I don't think I don't know if that's in reference to the Klondike bars or just the whole talk in particular. But
you know what?
I'm
thinking we don't include those two hashtags for the upcoming shows.
Let's see if we get Team Puke trending. But I do think this brings up a good point. Kind of one of the topics that we want to talk about is, you've mentioned that you're not really an ice cream person, but although it sounds like it today, but we have gone to leaning on some things during the forced isolation that this last year has brought onto us. And I think we really wanted to talk about, some of our favorite entertainment things we leaned on, but food is definitely, it's for me. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but food is a form of entertainment for me,
Yeah, I am definitely noticeably larger than I was last year at this time. I think that's excusable. I think a lot of people are, but I have become a Grubhub-aholic. I have whatever it is, the Grubhub perks. I pay for that every month for the free deliveries and everything. Yeah. And I tell myself it's so that, our local small business owners who own these restaurants through these tough times, that I'm still able to support them. But honestly, it's the primary thing is I can stuff my fat face without having to do dishes or leave my home. And that is a big I didn't realize how much of a priority that was in my life. But now, like, if there's other plans on the day that I'm going to do that, I'm hemming and hawing. Like, oh, I don't know. You think they could push the funeral back a day or two or something? You got plans on Saturday.
Plans on Saturday. Grubhub and I have a date. I will say this, and this is going to sound a little bit obnoxious, so I apologize in advance, but I've actually lost a little weight during this time. And the reason is I stopped getting fast food. I stopped eating out. I've been cooking all the time. And in fact, my new, and I only do things in obsessions. I get really excited about something and I do it and then lose interest after 2 months. That's the story of my life. But right now, my interests are these meal kits to the point where I have sampled almost all the different meal kits with free samples. A group of us at work traded, those free, get a free meal kit and I'll get a free meal kit. So I've been doing those, and boy, the portions are much smaller but I've been really forcing myself to stick with them. And yeah, I've lost a couple pounds here or there. So
I have never used those meal kits. So I don't, when you get them, what is it? Is it like it comes in a box, you throw it in the microwave for 2.5 minutes?
No, it's a mini trip to the grocery store. So you get recipe cards.
Oh.
It's on the app. They give you just if I'm having mashed potatoes, that's their side. They give you just enough potatoes to make that side. They give you just enough meat for 2 servings. I live alone. So what I've been doing is having one for dinner and then taking the leftovers for lunch, and it gets me through 2 meals. And that's a lot. Even though they're about, the one I like the most is about $8.99 a serving. It's still less. I mean, because you used to be able to go to get fast food and a $5 bill will do it. Those days are long gone,
Oh, so, no. When I Grubhub now, number one, I am woohoo. So I'm just ordering more. And then the other side of it is I tell myself, you know what? We've got somebody out here who's doing these deliveries, bringing it to my home. They're trying to survive in the gig economy. I need to make it worth their while, and I should order more food so they get a larger tip. Completely throwing out that I have the option of customizing the tip and giving them what would be a larger tip anyways. That is a meaningless little factoid to me. And I do it by like, you know what? I could order a second meal and then eat it for lunch tomorrow, which depending on how far I'm gone, sometimes it is. And sometimes I say, the first one was lunch. This one is dinner.
That's awesome. Let's check in. I don't want to get too far away from our audience, but Bagley, I agree. I think hugging, if Jerrod and I were to hug, it would be dangerous at this point. Debbie says some of those food delivery services are preventing restaurants from earning money. Oh, well, I can only feel so bad. I do feel bad for restaurants, but I like my meal kits. I like my waistline. You know what I'm saying? I like my new waistline.
I do. I have heard that, like, if I guess with some of them, and I don't know which are which, they take more from the restaurant. I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know how the math works. I obviously will believe whatever I need to.
They definitely. I've heard a lot that the restaurants feel gouged by the delivery places, right? You know, and it is, you know, there's been a lot of these opportunistic companies, and I feel like these meal delivery, you know, they were certainly around pre-pandemic, but for example, I live down in South County and there was nothing available. Now we have like 3 different options to order meals from, and where I live, nobody used to deliver to, and now we actually have options where I live. And but you know, it does hurt the restaurants. And you know, I think the other option is you would have to start a delivery service out of your own restaurant, which, you know, I'm sure there's insurance things to think of, overhead, all that type of stuff. So there is a lot of these. I have to do it because I'll lose too much business if I don't, but it's really not profitable for me, you know?
And I have like backed up and gone to restaurant websites because there's so much value to me and not having to talk to somebody on the phone. I hate talking to people on the phone and describing what it is that I'm getting, because I can't help but feel stupid when I do. And it's not their fault. It's 100% me. Like, when you can just go online and order, that is great. Now,
well, and I feel like when you don't talk to somebody, less opportunity for human error. Like if I'm just, if I'm ordering, there's more chance of it being right because they're just getting the order off the computer rather than, oh, did I have a bad phone connection? Did you mishear me? That sort of thing. So,
you know, one thing I did forget to mention about ordering too much, and I know early on that I was, because you'd get the bag and everything, and there'd be like 4 forks in there. And, you know, they're pulling from the other box of fortune cookies, because I'm getting fortunes like, I hope you and your friends enjoyed this great meal. And I'm just like fat and crying to myself. Duck sauce all in my beard.
You're absolutely right. There's been times pre-pandemic too.
Yeah.
That my normal order gets multiple sets of silverware and multiple fortune cookies. And I'm like, don't you dare judge me. Don't you dare do it. Don't you do it.
Take these forks back.
Yeah. Meanwhile, an hour later, I am like a beached whale on my couch with just duck sauce running down my beard. Yeah.
And once they reel you in, it's tough to go away, because I check my email now and they'll, like, Grubhub just sent another one. Like, sometimes there's extra discounts up there. And at that point, it would be financially irresponsible of me not to go in and start ordering more.
You're right. You are absolutely right. So, as Bowler points out, now she's hungry. So let's get off food. So we've had a few holidays this week. Today's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
We had the 15th was the Ides of March, and then Sunday was Pie Day.
Oh my God, Pie Day is. I don't know. When I was a kid, I never would have known Pie Day would piss me off so much, but it does. And I'll tell you why. Because it's like, who gets pissed off on Pie Day? This guy. Because you go out on Facebook and it's March 14th and people put out there, you know, Happy Pie Day and whatever. Some will make little wordplay things up. Okay, fine. The ones that piss me off are the people who are like, Happy Pi Day, then a winky emoticon, then in parentheses, this is for my smart friends. That drives me up the wall when people make that insinuation, because it's not like we didn't all learn pi in like the 5th grade.
It's
And
an
now
excellent
people,
point.
yeah, they're grown adults making all these Facebook statuses of like it's Pi Day for the fellow nerds. Everybody on Facebook, friends, knows what pi is. People have made Facebook profiles for their dogs. Those dogs know what pi is. Don't try to feel all smart about Pi Day. And then some of them are, you try to call them out. They're like, I love pi. It's like you love pi. You love the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Pi is just a symbol to represent that number. Why? You don't love that. That's like loving the angle that all triangles, internal angles add up to. Nobody loves that. Nobody was in geometry class just like, oh, this is great. I love this part, the pi part. I hate them. Anybody, if you did that, just know, might not be a permanent thing, but for at least a little while, I hated you.
Yeah.
You're not smart for knowing what pi is. Get out of here.
Yeah, bring me some calculus stuff. Like if you're doing cosine day, I don't know what that means. I never made it to that level of math. So yeah, then I'm with you. Then I'd say, okay, you can say smart friends because I am totally left out. But
call yourself a nerd when you're doing nerdy stuff, not when you're out there just like Pi Day. I would be more impressed if people on July 22nd were out there like, this is my Pi Day, because 22/7 is a more accurate designation of the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter than 3.1415, blah, 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 blah.
You left me in the dust. I did not know that. So yeah, no, I would agree. I am just your average Joe in this one. I can't,
For the audience,
I'm only in it for the actual pie, like dessert. That's why I like it.
Just so the audience is aware, not only did Ian make a Pi Day Facebook post, he did it last year, and all he did this year was go out like into the memories and share.
I'll give you one better, Jerrod. I have done that joke on Pi Day for the last like 8 years. I just got real lazy this year to look for it in my phone. I'm like, Facebook did it for me. Same thing I do in Ides of March with a bottle of Caesar with a knife sticking out the back saying, beware. And I go, beware. 8 years. And they're right day after day. It's my one claim to fame. The consistency is what's important.
So my not Ides of March, but boy, I'm trying to get the angle down right here. My little joke for that, for Caesar's betrayal and death, is August 2nd.
August 2nd.
Right. The reason for that, it's 8-2. And I can write 8-2 Brute.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
See,
you go for the pun. You'll go for the pun every time. Yeah, the winky face. That's when you know. That's when you know.
Gonna order some Grubhub and go out and do my 8-2 Brute joke.
So many different holidays we could celebrate. I think we need to dig deeper. But you're right. I do. When someone says it's for my smart friends, I think why that annoys me is because you are including yourself in that. It's not really for your smart friends. You just want to say you have smart friends and you are included in that.
Right.
So, yeah, bragger.
And let's be real. I mean, the people who are doing the winky face for my smart friends, like for the kids I went to high school with, the ones who are in like advanced and honors classes, aren't making those Facebook profiles.
No, they're too busy making money.
That's right.
They're not on Facebook. They're working, 120 hours a week, making just printing money.
Damn nerds.
Nerds. So, I'm going to throw this out to the chart. One of the things, and welcome to our show, by the way. Thank you for tuning in. Jerrod and I have been discussing this for like a month and a half of wanting to do something. And then we finally just said, let's just put something out there, see what it is. So that you're watching this show kind of form before your eyes. We have some ideas of what we want it to be. But one of the things we want it to be is a community-based show where our audience kind of shapes what's happening. And, so we're going to really be paying attention to the comments. If someone has something really, really they want to say and they want to come on air, say it and we'll bring you on air. We have a way to do that. We really want this to be a show. If Seinfeld was a show about nothing, we're a show about everyone, right? So that was a horrible tie-in, but I tried it. Seinfeld
is a sponsor of the show, by the way.
Seinfeld is a sponsor of the show. All sitcoms that are 20 years or plus as potentially being a sponsor of the show. So today, we're gonna try to work off topics, and so that we just don't amble for an hour or however long the show is. So today's topic is entertainment we've been leaning on during the pandemic or prior, right? I mean, we were thinking pandemic, but so we kind of want to know, one thing we want to know what everybody's been binging or doing, or kind of talk about that because it's interesting. But also, I need some new things for my queue, so I'm hoping to really steal some.
This is basically to suck in ideas for Saturdays when I'm
with Grubhub.
Grubhub. What's that in my mind? Eating Grubhub. Now, I will tell you, because there's things that piss me off about
our people, to Amy, our people, team nerds. Yes.
I will say, Amy, full-fledged nerd. I will give her the whole nerd thing. But you know what pisses me? Like the binging thing, I love it. I love that I can go and watch what I want whenever I watch it. They forecast it since I was a kid, and it's finally here. But I hate when there's something I'm really looking forward to, and it's on a streaming service, and they still make me wait a week in between episodes. That is bullshit. There's no reason they should be doing that.
Well,
let me just say, no, I am not going to be binging toddlers and tiaras. Terrible, terrible idea.
I don't know. I'm open to it. No. Are you watching Marvel movies? Yeah. I mean, Marvel movies are the ones that I put on when I have to do something else, but I want something in the background. And I'm not really one to do that. I have a touch of the ADD. So sometimes that can get in the way of what I want to do. But for whatever reason, Marvel, there's enough that happens that I don't need to pay attention to. So when the good scene comes on, I don't mind the distraction. So yeah, that's Marvel movies for me.
I've become such a huge fan of the Marvel movies. Like when there's something that I don't want to do with anything else, I'll throw in something from the Avengers series and from any of that MCU and watch it again. Like I have Disney Plus, and I had one point where I was able to watch all of them in canonical order. It was wonderful. The problem is when you start watching them too many times, sometimes the dialogue can start to get a little bad, and you're like, the fate of the universe rests on this. Nobody's actually going to say those words. You got to stop that. But here's my thing with Marvel. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I just have an observation that every generation has a movie or some sort of property where people get misty-eyed to. Like, I'm old, so like Terms of Endearment is one of those. I think younger folks like The Notebook, usually very romantic type of movie, usually with some death involved. My tearjerker movie is Avengers Endgame when they say "on your left," and there's nothing that gets me a little bit teary. And then Spider-Man shows up. Come on, man! You have to be heartless.
I saw it. I saw it in the movie theater when it came out because I wasn't working. It came out like on a Wednesday night. I went Thursday in Lincoln because they're playing like every hour. And oh my God, that theater got so silent when they did the "On the Left." And that part got me. And I'm not going to say I was blubbering or anything, but I was certainly like not willing to open my mouth because at that point in time, it could have been.
Everything was here. Everything was here.
Yes.
All the feelings were here.
And the part where Captain Marvel was going to be bringing the what was the glove called?
The Infinity Gauntlet?
The Infinity Gauntlet, yeah. When she was going to try to bring it forward and Spider-Man was like you're going to go through all that by yourself? And like it was all the other women superheroes who came in like, she's not going to be by herself. I like had a moment right then.
Yeah. And for everybody said that was a contrived moment, maybe, but it was time for it. It was awesome. And I'll die on that hill. I will die on that hill. They needed to do it. They have some of the best, women superheroes are the best. They are something that have gotten even better, and they were able to do it. And I applaud them for it. I will die on that. I was so angry when I'll call them incels. Were like, oh, they so contrived the women. I was like, that needed to happen. It
was so awesome. Like I think about, when I was a kid, the only woman superhero that I really knew of was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And she's not all that exciting of a superhero. It's like, ooh, you got an invisible plane and a lasso that makes people tell the truth. It's hard to be excited about that. But then in the whole Avengers series, it's like, there's so many awesome ones that are in there. Even Gwyneth Paltrow in an Iron Man outfit. I was one. Take my money. I am in completely for it.
Yeah. And then I don't know if did you watch WandaVision?
I did. Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, I want to say that you were saying you don't like that you have to wait a week. I kind of like it. The Disney shows that I have to wait a week, I'm kind of digging it. I'm looking forward to Friday with the start of Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I just wish I could watch it all at once. But that does bring me to my next thing, kind of talking in the Marvel world.
Yeah.
I got so into the movies and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start watching the other things. And I wasn't great into the cartoons, but I was like, okay, I'll watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. And number one, when you've been Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I found myself getting really weepy at the dumbest moments. It was like a definite step down from the Marvel movies. And they're doing two people who are hired assassins flying in the front of a jet plane talking about love.
Yeah.
Sure is tough how love works sometimes.
I will say this. I think without Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you don't get as good Marvel movies. I think they learned a lot with that show. I think they learned a lot because it
wasn't bad.
Yeah, I think they were like, okay, let's take Phil Coulson as a character and take the good stuff from that, but also leave it. So yeah, it wasn't. I think I stopped with season 5. I didn't watch the last couple of seasons, and I will now, but I do appreciate it for what it was.
Yeah, they kind of fell apart towards the end.
Yeah, Bowler says WandaVision was great. I totally agree. I totally did not expect where it went and loved it. Amy too. It's because you relate to the heroes, Jerrod. Yeah. My theory has always been I grew up with a father that loves cowboy movies. Every Saturday was a cowboy movie. They're the same damn thing. It's these loners that get responsibility they never want. And they do what's right, and they're in a situation to use their powers for good. You may be amazing with a revolver, or you maybe have superpowers, but they're the exact same type of movies.
Yeah, and they kind of reflect a society that people want to think that it is instead of the real one. Because in those movies, the bad guy always gets it at the end. The good guys always win. Even when Thanos' gloves. Snapped his fingers. It was like the very next movie, you knew that the bad guy was going to lose in the end. And it kind of goes like Wonder Woman 84. I got HBO Max to watch that. And at the beginning, I was like, this is really good. And the movie got worse and worse. And then at the very end, this was for all the jumping around and using clouds to swing by and everything and bringing back her dead ex, the most unbelievable part to me was when she was getting on the television and imploring people to give back their wish, to rescind their wish.
Oh, I know.
Everybody became selfless all at once.
All at once.
Maybe the world has gotten me too cynical, but that was the point where I was like, we've learned that people will let the world burn if they get their little bit that they want.
Well, and think about it, right? 84, height of the or the start of the AIDS epidemic, not even the start, like we're well into it, and no politician would admit it, so it isn't like the 80s where there's great like utopia and we've gotten worse, and not to be cynical but all I've seen during the pandemic is a lot of people being selfish, like there's so much, but again, there are a lot of people that I've really been impressed with, and I know who my friends are because they're the ones that will wear the mask and get the vaccine and all of that good stuff. But I agree with you. It was like,
but I have more Marvel thoughts, to be honest. If we're really willing to go down that rabbit hole,
let's pause it, because I don't want to. For those of you those not in Marvel, I feel like maybe we should have maybe we have a Marvel segment until we get it all out for the next few episodes.
That's a good idea.
But I wanted to go because Bowler brought up Alone, and Alone I am knee deep in right now, Bowler, and I got this, and I think I know Tina or I know Mindy was talking about this when we were doing one night, I think probably a Wilty, and she was watching it, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then friends of mine said they were watching it. So about 2 weeks ago, I started watching Alone. Jerrod, do you know what Alone is?
I do not know what Alone is.
All right. So, the elevator pitch for Alone, survivalists, people that self-claimed survivalists, get dropped off at the beginning. It was on Vancouver Island, which is way up in the Canada Pacific Northwest. So, north of Washington State. It's like a rainforest in Canada. Like there is no humans on it. It's not celeb. It's like a rainforest. It's dense, and they drop 10 contestants off. They, out of like 50 items they can choose from, they can bring 10 items with them for survival, right? Nothing else. And then basically it's last person standing wins $500,000. So, and it goes on for months. People are living this life, having to get their food, having to get their water, having to build their shelter, all this. They do this for months, usually into the winter. So it gets harder and harder as you go along. And it is, I didn't think I'd like it. I'm not really one that watches these survival. I mean, I like Survivor. I like my reality TV really contrived, right? I like it very scripted. Like, I want villains and heroes. This is so not edited. The contestants film themselves. They don't even have a camera crew with them. They are totally alone for months and months on end. And by the end, they have the men have beards like ours, because they didn't bring a razor, right? That sort of thing. So
I could see people spending a lot of time there, because I think people who are good at that, they can generate a lifestyle. Because I'll say, I was in the Marines, and we'd have to go out I've done been in jungles and everything, done the stuff where you're out, living out in the wild for a while. And for me, it's the lessons I learned from that and everything all revolved around how much suffering can I take and still continue to operate.
And Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm saying there's no joy or happiness for me. But it's fun with the other people that you're out there with and everything. But it's I'm not out there enjoying being dirty and if I'm going to clean myself, just cold water is all I have. And whatever you're eating, you are going to be getting some dirt in it. And going to the bathroom, I got to tell you, there's no clean, fun way to do it. So for me, it's all about I learned I can suffer for a long time and still operate.
I think that's interesting because, I think sometimes they run out of food just because the environment is not helping them at all, like at all, and they just don't have what it takes to, forage once the snow hits the ground and the fish aren't biting, or they have no way to get to where the fish are really biting or where they're at, that sort of thing. But more times now that I've watched a few seasons, it's the mental game. Because the other thing you don't know how many people are left. So you don't know when you don't know when this is going to be over, right? So you're just sitting out there, and any day it could be the day that they come and get you saying there's nobody left, you won. And it's the mental game. They're just it's the boredom, they're just I can't I'll be doing this forever. Like, and it becomes less about the money. It's like, I've proven what I needed to prove. I could do this indefinitely. I don't want to do it anymore. And that is so interesting to me.
So I will say this.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't win and they're come off and they're like, you know what, it wasn't about the money. I learned so much about, they are full of crap.
Oh, and we were laughing. Like, I have a group text of my friends. Debbie on here is one of the people that are watching it. And one of my groups was like, why do they stop talking about the money like at day 67? Like, nobody mentions the money, because I think that's when they've settled that, oh, I need, I got to save face here a little bit. So I'm going to go out on my terms. And the only thing they can't reconcile is the money, right? They're like, I did what I came out to prove. Well, yeah, but you didn't get the $500,000 either. So I'm learning something. I got to go in these comments. Garth is my cousin. He auditioned for the show and had a callback. Oh, Garth, man, we need to set up a phone call. I need to hear all.
Oh yeah. First special guest, because I am so curious. Like,
yeah.
How do they audition you for that? Is it just personality?
Yeah, Garth, if you want to come on, put it in the chat, and I'll email you a link if you want to come on, and we'll talk about that. Bowler, you're gonna keep feeding that in.
Pushing the toddlers and tiaras.
You keep pushing it. You're a pusher, Bowler, pusher.
Toddlers and Tiaras is actually a sponsor of our show too, which is kind of crazy.
Now she's going after me because I said I like the contrived reality. I think she's given up on you, but she knows I really do believe I am a sucker for reality. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's on TV, I can get sucked into it. That has happened so many times with Real Housewives. I have no interest in the Real Housewives, but I come from a family that likes Real Housewives. And there's been times where I'm visiting my parents, my mom has it on, and I just realized I've watched 45 minutes and I'm really wondering who's who. And I'm like trying to figure out everything. So there is something about that. Also Baywatch. I don't know this one. Is that about Beyonce? Beyonce fans? Or are you playing on Baywatch?
I am curious about. It's really hard for me to get into a new show though. Like I will jump ship really quickly. I have had some that I've watched that are terrible. We'll talk about them in the superheroes one that I finally went, why am I watching this? This is so bad. Like, you feel dirty that you were watching it for so long.
Absolutely, Bowler. And it's funny. It's the only show that I actually will watch as a metaphor for pandemic life. There's been a lot of really, really prescient media out there that either deals with pandemics. Like, you're like, how did they know when they were producing this and it's released right now that there's been a pandemic, or there's something, about some horrible thing that happened in the news? And I really, really, I think through June, I wouldn't watch anything negative. Like, I miss Tiger King because that just seemed like too much for my delicate sensibilities while I was sequestered alone. I couldn't do it. So I missed it totally. But I think you're right. Alone, I'm like, no, it feels good. I'm like, look, we can do anything. Like, I could do this. I could make a net out of paracord.
Tiger King, I ended up enjoying, but I felt like I was like, when somebody's BSing you, somebody's bullshitting you, and they're bullshitting you, and yet you still go along with it. That's how I felt watching Tiger King. It was like, okay, this is entertaining, but they're putting on a show. This really isn't reality. And sometimes, like, the fact that it was other people are living a real life, their own real life, and yet you have all these other people who this is their moment, so they're playing characters. Like the part where the guy died, and it's at his funeral, and his mom is there, and the Tiger King, I've already forgotten his name, but he starts singing at the funeral, and it's so bad, and they pan over to the mom, and she looks so uncomfortable. And I don't cringe that easy, but I was cringing watching that.
Yeah. No, I mean, every time, because it hit. I remember talking about it at work before we went to work from home. So it was like right at the beginning, like I think it just dropped and people were getting into it. But then once everybody was work from home, it seemed to be all over social media. And that's when I was like, I don't think it, but you're right. It had no redeeming value for me. But I know if I started episode 1 I would have probably watched the whole thing because that's how I am. Like,
Yeah. So
uh,
Bowler is. I think she's describing Baywatch right here,
it's
and
Australian. All right.
it's a show where the family that one disapproves of a couple will secretly watch them on television. I guess voyeuristically that would be crazy to watch, but like in my life, no side of that would I want to be on. Like if I was in a relationship with someone my family didn't like, I'd never want them to watch me on a vacation. And let's say somebody in my family, let's say it was one of my daughters was dating somebody who I disapprove of, which, I have my own personal thoughts and feelings on that. They're adults. They can make their own decisions, and I trust them to make them. But in the world of if I disapproved of someone they were in a relationship with, the last thing I'd want to do is spy on them on vacation. The last thing I'd want to do is that.
Oh, but are the family spying on them while the couple's on vacation? The family's not on vacation. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, I will say this. Jerrod had that reaction. My reaction. This is my. I'm repurposing an envelope, and it had made the list. So I will be watching Baywatch in the near future, and maybe report back to it on this show. Let's see. It could be New Zealand. If it's New Zealand, even more. I love all things New Zealand. So I'm in if it's a New Zealand thing.
What streaming service is it on? Do we know?
Yeah, Bowler. What? Is it on? Is it? What is it?
Yeah, is it on?
It's terrifying. Like watching through a two-way mirror creep fest, but also can't stop watching.
That's how I feel like it would be if I was watching it. Like I would be cringing and it'd be awful, but I wouldn't be able to pull myself away.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love train wrecks. I hate to say that, but man, I get drawn in.
It's like when people say, I don't like drama. I got to be honest. I like drama as long as I'm not involved in it. Other people's drama that I can watch, woohoo!
See, my algorithm on Netflix is not giving me the right things. Like I need to watch more shows like Alone because I don't get those type of things. I really, all mine are action adventure, probably because before Disney Plus, all I watched on it were Marvel movies and that sort of thing. So my algorithm.
It's to the point now. Netflix is not showing me anything I want to watch. It took me months. I just finally watched like the Queen's Gambit. And
that was good.
I was surprised at how good it was. I was totally invested.
Now, talk about another thing but I really do think you need to be smart to play chess. But it's another thing that you can kind of be like, oh, my smart friends, I'm playing chess.
Yeah.
I wanted to play chess so bad after that. And every time I play chess, I just don't, I understand all the moves. I can play a game of chess. I don't understand how you could even have a strategy for chess. I don't understand the strategy.
Same thing here. Yeah. I learned how to play chess when I was 5 years old. And I have not improved very much since then.
Nope. I even bought Chess for Dummies, and my downstairs neighbor when I lived in West Springfield borrowed it, and I never got it back. Wow. But I bought Chess for Dummies really thinking, all right, I can read this book, and at least then I'll understand what I'm supposed to be looking for to create a strategy. Because everybody's like, oh, he's doing this maneuver or that sort of thing.
Alien defense. What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Princess Bride. Anyways, all right. What other things are people watching? I appreciated. I'm going back. Amy said my pandemic life has involved getting cookies delivered. I think I would be knocked out and alone in 5 minutes. Yeah, I don't even think I'd let them land the helicopter. I'd be like, this was a huge mistake. Thanks for the ride, but I'm going back.
That's exactly how I would be. At any point at all that I got involved in, it would just be me saying, this is a terrible idea. I don't know why I thought of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that of any show where there's people suffering, though. Survivor, you're watching them. It's like, you know what? I'm an attention whore. I love attention. But I'd be way too unhappy.
Let me just put it this way. I don't have that much vacation time. There is no way I would use it at being uncomfortable. Right. Vacation should be about relaxation totally. I'm pretty hedonistic during the year. But on vacation, I take it to a whole new level. I didn't move today. This is a great day, yeah. So although I have to admit, because of pandemic, I took a late vacation. I broke up my vacation to the week in September, and every day my goal was to break my exercise goal on my iWatch, and it was one of the best vacations I did. I succeeded at that. And I just went hiking all over Rhode Island, and it was one of the best vacations I've had. So I may be rethinking that.
Hiking is one of those things where I tell myself I should get into hiking. I should do it. But there's nothing about it that appeals to me. Like, I don't like going on long walks. I love long walks on the beach thing. I don't enjoy that. To me, like, walking is how you get from one place to another. It's not an adventure in and of itself.
Yeah. My favorite exercise, and again, when I say favorite exercise, it's kind of like saying, what's your favorite oral surgery, right? Like, yeah, I like some more than others, but I'm not really excited to do any of it. But I do like biking. Like, biking is I like being outdoors, and the least amount of work I can do while being outdoors. And what I like about hiking is I like hiking to see different, like, nature and preserves and that sort of, like, I would never just walk. I mean, I do walk down my street, but I find it boring as hell. But if I go to a place and explore it, I forget I'm like exerting myself, and that's what it's all about.
I could, like the whole Disney World thought, if I'm in Disney, also a sponsor of the show, but if I'm like Epcot Center, yeah, you're right. I am happily kind of plodding around, look at things. When it comes to exercise for me, like, as a kid, I played a lot of team sports, and I enjoyed doing that. And then, living a military life, I had to make myself go out there and like go running and do all that. And I got to be good at it, but I hated it the whole time I was doing it. And now I keep telling myself, I know I could do it. I know I could get started again. But it is true that the toughest part of running is that very first part, the part where you start running and say, I guess I'm running now. Yeah. Boy, that's a tough one to get to.
Yeah, as I like to call it, slowly killing yourself. That's that part of the run. It's like you just feel like you're gonna die.
Yeah,
and I've never been in shape my whole life. I've been a heavy kid right through adulthood. Like but I have some fitness, especially when I'm more active. I'm losing it by the day during pandemic, but I have some fitness. But with running, man, that I never ever, I don't know what people talk about endorphins when it comes to running. I've experienced it in spin class. Like, I get it once I'm doing that kind of aerobic exercise there, but with running, it's just pain. It is. And it's probably because I'm carrying around so much extra weight, so I get it, but man, I hate it.
I always hated it, and I had to do it. The only good part about running was being able to be all smug and tell other people, yeah, I run a lot.
Yeah, it's your pie day.
Day.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
And I can't discount that, because that really appeals to every part of me, which is the part where I love to be smug and try to think that I'm better than other people.
That's right. All right, so we got some more recommendations. Salt, fat, acid, heat. Amazing show. Up my cooking game. Bowler, I'm on that. You're 2 for 2. I'm adding that to my list. I've seen it. I've heard good things about it. But with these meal boxes, I feel like I'm a master chef for following these very easy instructions and being able to my knife skills. It's a little bit easier to dice now. Like, I kind of got my dice game down, like dicing a vegetable. If you say julienne or anything like that, I'm out, but I feel like Julia Child every time I get in the kitchen. So I will read that. I will watch that.
So cooking shows. So I enjoy cooking shows. I like to think of myself as a foodie and everything. And I've had times in the past where I've had to stop watching like Food Network because it would make me so hungry that I'd go out and eat. And there's a part of me that enjoys cooking shows so much. But then there's the other part of me that steps back. And I found myself watching cooking shows, and they make something, and I'm sitting there like, I can't wait to watch them try it. I don't say those words, and I don't think of it directly that way, but I know that I'm waiting for that ending, and then they're making it, and I don't know if it's because they're on TV or what, but they're sitting biting into it, and they're just doing all the faces, and I get all into it. Like, nobody sometimes you do, but I watch Guy Fieri so many times just be like, oh, it is so, and I don't want, when you're watching, you're unconsciously looking forward to Guy Fieri making the orgasm food face.
Yeah.
I don't get
and
it.
it's funny because I can't recreate it, right? I don't. First of all, I don't have the skills. I also don't have the equipment. Like, they're like, oh, and take out your blah blah blah, and I'm like, what? Like your pasta maker, your pasta press. I'm like, who has a pasta press running around that isn't a chef? Like, probably everybody, and it's just me.
You want to use your fish knife for this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Does a butter knife count? Because that's what I got.
Right. Although
let's see.
Yeah. Does Chop still put out new episodes?
I think so. Yeah. I never got into Chopped. The gateway to cooking shows, and it's not really a cooking show, but was Hell's Kitchen, which got me into Restaurant Nightmares when he would go and fix all the restaurants. I think that's what it was called. Kitchen Nightmares, maybe. Yeah. But very Hell's Kitchen, definitely a cooking show, but I really liked him going and berating horrible restaurant owners. That was fun for me. So. All right. So a couple things. First of all, Garth said there is no coasting and running, and that's in comparison with my biking. So I think he's onto the crux of why I like biking. Debbie says I need a mini trampoline. She just got one. I'm not buying for it. First of all, I think I would step on it and my feet would be on the floor. I don't think it can support my weight, these little mini trampolines, but okay. And also, I just, as someone that is 49 years old, I have no business bouncing.
Yeah. Mini, maxi, there's no trampoline in the world that I can have in my life right now and continue moving forward and living.
Yeah.
Trampoline is basically like the electric chair for me at this point.
That's exactly it. It's sorry, Debbie, I'm just not in it. Oh, Kitchen Nightmares. That's right. Thanks, Amy. And then Bagley recommend Lock and Key. Excellent. Have you seen it, Jerrod?
I don't think I have.
So it's based on a comic book series by Joe Hill, and I forget the artist's name, but Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son. That's his pen name, Joe Hill. Excellent. He did Nosferatu. He did a bunch of. I'm a big Stephen King fan, and I'm a big Joe Hill fan. So did it. It's fantastic. So Bagley's right on that. So if you have a little envelope going, I highly recommend you put Lock and Key on it.
I know.
Because it's superhero. It's not, it has nothing to do with superheroes, but it's that same kind of fantasy, and it's kids that get to be the hero. It's really good. And then Cooks versus Con is fun like Chopped. Please tell me the cons stand for convicts.
I hope so.
Is it like making like you got to make the soup in the toilet? Like you got the real cooks that get the kitchen, and the convicts have to make their stuff in the prison cell? Because I'm all in. And this thing's timestamped, so if that doesn't exist, we created it right here, Jerrod.
We are making. I call the cook side.
Oh, I'm just the producer. I'm not doing it. We'll find real convicts. So, and Amy loves Cooks versus Cons. We got something neither Jerrod and I have heard of.
Look, I will say finding stuff I haven't heard of that's not a difficult trick to make.
Well, I'm adding you in. It is difficult for me. I do like my media of all types. Music, books, movies, TV shows. I hit all the food groups.
So what I found, because I cut the cord years ago, and it used to be I would find out about new things coming out by watching TV, commercials for new movies. Maybe Entertainment Tonight happens to be on when you're going through, and it talks about which media. Oh, that does look interesting.
That does look good.
Yeah. Now it's either algorithms when I log into like an Amazon Prime or Netflix, or just hearing it from other people. But like commercials for things in general, I don't get those anymore. And I think we talked about Marvel before. I think Endgame was the only one I remember TV commercials.
Oh my God! Yeah, I cut the cord too. Although I have YouTube TV, so I do have network TV again. But I fast forward through the commercials, so I really don't see them. What we're doing here is really my icebreaker in most conversations. Even with friends, if there's any kind of lull in the conversation, I'll be like, so what are you watching? What are you reading? And then we go down this diet, and on my phone, I'll open up the notes app and I'll just start taking notes. That's how I found out about Alone, because my friend Sales was really into it. She actually subscribed to Discovery Plus, and then Hulu a week after she subscribed to it. It released it on Hulu. So she was like,
You know, another place I used to find out about stuff is movie previews. Like when you go to the movie theater, there's always 3 or 4, and those are so much better than any TV commercial that you see. That would be movie previews at the movie theater made me look forward to seeing those movies. And, you know, losing out on that for a year, it's just that many more movies that I'm just not.
Now, Jerrod, are you one that go to the movies a lot?
Not a ton. I don't like going to the movie theater by myself. So that is I want to end game. The stuff, I guess, if I want to just to see a movie badly enough, I will go by myself. But in general, I feel weird about doing that. So I only go when I go with somebody.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to find somebody that is into movies, and
or you got to be dating someone. I'm so bad at that.
Yeah. I think we could have named our podcast our show that Bad at Dating with Ian and Jerrod. No, conversely, I actually sometimes prefer going to the movies by myself. So I go all the time. If I have a bad day, like if I have a bad work day, I usually am searching what starts at like 5:30 and go see it because it'll turn my mood around. So I see almost everything in the theater, and it has been the thing eating out in the thing and going to the movies are the things I miss the most. And obviously the things I'm looking most forward to getting back to normal is going back to the movies. But I also love going with friends, and I have a lot of friends that will go to any movie, and I'll be like, I want to go. But sometimes I'm just like I work very close to Province Place Mall. After work, I'll just walk over there and see a movie.
That's such a good idea. I might start pulling that one into my life when I do it. But I will tell you, my favorite, or what I miss most, is I'm an extrovert, so I get all of my energy from the people around me, and I still have that I think everybody in comedy
has a little bit.
We're all a little insecure or a lot insecure, and we're like, do I like all my friends more than they like me? I feel that. I think everybody feels that. But I also miss like being right there all around with all of my friends. After shows, we would be circled up or just hanging out somewhere, just together. You get in a little different conversations with different people. The biggest laughs I've had in my life have not been like on stage or watching something on stage. It's been with groups of friends that are around.
Well, and that's probably why you sought it out, because you had so many of those moments with friends saying, "Oh, I should do that." That was kind of one of the reasons. I can't say it's the ultimate reason, but I definitely thought that. It's like, oh, I love making my friends laugh. Maybe I can do this on stage, right?
How we got into improv would be. We should put that down.
All right, table. I will say this about me. I'm an introvert at heart. And so I think going to movies alone really recharges my batteries. Like that's what they say introverts are, is you get your energy when you're alone, and extroverts get their energy when they're with people. Conversely, when I'm with people, it sucks the energy out. And a lot of times extroverts say, when I'm too much time alone and all my, I'm like, ugh. So I truly, truly believe that. So
it's very true.
We are different. Yeah.
Very true. Because I've really been suffering a lot during the pandemic because I've been by myself a lot, and I can be by myself. Like I can cocoon up, but everything in my life drops off. The dishes build up longer if I have all the time in the world to do them than if I've got a lot of stuff going on with other people. I can carve out easily the time. Like, got to get this done now because I'm energized.
Yep. I agree. I think Tina falls in the introvert side, I believe is what she's nodding at. Although if you're extrovert, Tina, sorry, not trying to type you, just taking my best guess. I find that the introverts are the ones that nod incessantly, though. They just are really, really when people speak to them. I will say this though, it does impact me, and I think sometimes I come off as a little bit aloof. Like after a show, my energy's gone. So while everybody else is kind of jump, and I love hanging out, but and I have a little bit of social anxiety. So I often just disappear after a show because that's more comfortable for me. But I realize it's taking me longer to kind of get in with new folks and that sort of thing. So it's something that I've kind of done some soul searching. You know, what are you going to do after the pandemic? And I'm like, I'm going to make a better effort to like stick around she's both-ies.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
Well,
Yes.
one thing people would not think of me as is shy, but I'm a shy person until I feel comfortable around people and get to know them. I have a hard time being the first one going into, hi, I'm Jerrod. Nice to meet you. So I think that's when I'm around people I'm comfortable with, it's like, whoosh, I feel so relaxed and I can just kind of open up sometimes way too much around my friends that I love. But boy, until I know someone, and I wonder if I ever come off as aloof to new people because of that, because I'm like not comfortable just kind of initiating conversations.
And I'm not surprised about that. I think one of the things that there's kind of a spectrum of things is how quickly you get acclimated to. Like some people are just like, yeah, I feel uncomfortable, but give me 20 minutes and I'm fine. Like, you know, for me, it's like, if I get people laughing, I feel like they're accepting me, and that's all I need. I need to feel accepted, and then I'm comfortable. But for me, it takes a long time in a new situation to feel accepted. I am not one that likes going to parties where a majority of people I don't know. Like, if it's all my friends, love it. But if it's a mixed group, I hate it. I hate it.
I think we could do a whole episode psychoanalyzing comedians.
Yeah, we definitely could. Well, we clearly have hit a nerve because we are getting more and more people talking about it. So I'm a hardcore introvert who has to pretend to be an extrovert at work. Same, although Julie, I don't know if you find this. Julie and I have similar type of jobs. We're both work in higher ed at different things. I feel I think because I've been doing it so long, I feel, and I've one that's done the same thing my entire career. I haven't really changed a lot. And it's working directly with students. I feel when I feel like competent in my job, to the point where I feel like I'm doing a good job, my extrovert's easier to come out. I don't have to fake it as much. But as soon as I'm doing something that I feel is outside of my wheelhouse a little bit, that's when I start getting that introvert can come out, you know? So, yeah, and usually working with students, I'm 100% extrovert. Like I'm on, like, let me take them on a retreat. I can do trainings for 2 days. Like, I love it, but put me in a staff meeting or a meeting with professionals, and I'll be like, I'm not going to talk in this one. Tina, I hear and see that again. Yeah.
I think it's until I get emotional about something too. And I always say I'm an outgoing person, but I'm not an emotional person. Mm-hmm. And to be in the workplace, if I'm going to feel an emotion, it's either like I just all of a sudden really love the people I work around, or something where I'm in a meeting and I'm starting to get angry about things. Yeah. And that's when I'll kind of take control, because, you know, when it's work, Jerrod, and meeting, Jerrod, it's like, okay, this meeting has gone off the rails. We're talking about something else, blah, blah, blah.
And this meeting could have been an email. Yeah. I can picture that. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about work stuff.
I know. Yeah. Sometimes I know I'm working too much when that's all I have to talk about. So it's always a good check-in.
Yeah. I will say I've got a great job now that I love, and I love the people I work with. So that is ambivert.
So that's both.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. It's like, it's ambidextrous is both hands, and ambivert is both introvert and extrovert. So, or in the middle. In Myers-Briggs, it would be you're right in the middle of introvert and extrovert. Let's see. Cool. All right. Well, what do you think? First show?
Yeah, first show. I think it was fun. Conversation. We got to, I pull people in from the chat. If anything, I'd love to do that even more.
Yeah. I'm serious, folks. For those of you watching, Wednesday nights work for us. We're trying to figure out how often, but Wednesday nights work for us. 7:00 works for us, like after dinner, but early enough that people aren't spending all night in front of their computers. But good. And I appreciate everybody that's given us positive feedback. But we really do. More and more, we want this to be about our audience, and We want to do topics where people are in the comments. We really want to encourage folks to be in the comments, and eventually we want to pull people into the stream and talk about it. So, that's always an option. So we'll probably do a preamble before each show to say, just say in the comments you want to come on, and we'll figure out a way to do that. It's fairly easy. So, yeah.
I've got to say, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't see more members of the audience as angry about people who think they're smart about knowing what pi is on social media.
You did not hit a nerve there that I thought you were going to. And I teed you up. I knew you wanted to talk about it. I was like,
did.
All right, I'll tee him up. Here it is, talking about holidays that really don't exist. And here we are. And nobody took
I get so aggravated about that.
And I'll pull back the curtain a little bit. Jerrod and I were texting about what we wanted to talk about this week, and the only thing he was adamant about is and I'm going to talk about Pi Day, and I was like, I was like, oh boy, has he seen? I posted about Pi Day, but I only did my one little thing, and it's not about being smart; it's just a goofy comic. But he was like, no, not you. It's when they make something. I was like, oh, this is gonna be gold right here.
I have thoughts.
I have thoughts. So we'll have to see if that continues. If everything Jerrod's passionate about is everybody not passionate about. Oh,
what
no.
can I not be cranky about?
It's like, yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, the other thing is, like our Facebook page, Ian and Jerrod Hump Day Extravaganza. Search for it. A lot of you I've invited already, but find it, like it. That's the best way to find out what we're doing. Like our YouTube page, same name. If you're, I didn't see anybody come from Twitch. It's my own. I didn't bother to make a one for it because we don't get a lot of people on Twitch. It's ENM1225. Follow it on there. All those places you'll find us streaming. Yeah, yeah. Any final thoughts, Jerrod?
No. Hey, if anybody is out there in World of Warcraft, just find me at Orgrimmar.
Oh, no, I didn't know you played World of Warcraft.
No, I used to not for years because I was like, if I start playing it, I'm going to waste too much time in it. And then this all hit. And a friend of mine was like, hey, you can play the free one. Hey, guess what? I sure can. So just this year I've started playing. Do I hate it? 100%. Oh, I hate it so much. Am I about to start playing as soon as we're done this?
Absolutely.
100%.
All right. We'll put a pin in this. I really want to talk about video games with you. I don't think it's enough for a session. But one of the things I didn't talk about, I said, I'm in all categories of pop culture, like music, movies, TV. The pandemic has made me a really hardcore video game fan. I've never consistently played video games, and for the pandemic, I've consistently gone from one video game to the next, solving it, which I never do. I usually lose interest and then not touch video games for a year. And I'm like right now I'm actively searching for a new game because I just finished one. So anyway, so we'll have to talk about our experiences with the video game world.
Yes.
Cool. All right, everybody. Show ideas, put them in the comments on any of our places, and we'd love them. And then seriously, feedback, things you liked, things you didn't. Jerrod and I, we can take it with thick skin. If you know us, send us an email, put them in the comments, message us, doesn't matter. We want this show to be about you, so we want to know what you think, what you liked, what you don't like, that sort of thing. So cool.
All right,
my friend.
That was it.
Yeah, that was a fun hour in 10 minutes.
That was. Was.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you on the next time on Ian and Jerrod's Hump Day Extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
Woo.